Hey everybody, Jiggin Jerry here. Well, it is May 2019 and spring is heating up. That's right, the past month the water temperature has risen. It has brought bait into the harbor and into the local rivers. The birds are on the move. They are feeding strong, and it's made a lot of us local fishermen and tourists antsy to get into some of these great game fish species we have here. Now, whether or not you are fishing off a pier or fishing off the surf or just out getting ready to have a good time with the family or just yourself fishing in a freshwater pond, there is plenty of fish to be had here in the low country. And in this episode, we're going to try to cover all three and see what we can get into. All right. You coming? Keep them going, buddy. Coming. There he is. Got him? Is he there? Yeah. Can't see him. All right, don't try to reel him up.
Hang on a second.
Job. Another one. It doesn't have any parasites on the back fin, but I do see one on the side fin here. She's pretty. Catch them this time of year on frozen shrimp. on my that wrap. The pinfish kept getting my shrimp, so I went ahead and wrapped it in plastic. And that netting that I use fishing for sheephead with clam in the winter. So I wrapped up the shrimp and put it on there, and the pinfish couldn't get it all. That gave it enough time for this little red drum here to go ahead and get a hold of it. And that worked. That's what I needed. All right. Well, there is nothing like a great day of pier fishing. Pier fishing can be relaxing, you can have a good time, you can come and go as you please. Some piers have bathrooms, some have little restaurants nearby, you can get something to eat. You know, you don't have to worry about putting a boat up later on and cleaning it and washing it. It can just be fun. Anyway, when you're surf fishing, there are signs to look for, and birds is one of them. Not these birds, I mean these guys. That's right, pelicans and seagulls. When you see them diving frantically like this in large groups, that means they are targeting schools of bait fish. And where there are schools of bait fish, there are groups of game fish underneath those bait fish that are darting in and out of them and feeding, almost like a mirror image of what the birds are doing above. In most cases, you can find yourself some really good game fish if you can get close enough or reach these schools of fish. So it's early in the season, and I am out here on the beach, and I am targeting this eddy that has been created by the current coming off of this rock jetty right here. And I'm curious. I just want to see what's active already and what I'm going to find. All right. Fighting pretty good. If I can get him in. It's a big bluefish. Nice size snapper blue. I know somebody that would love to eat those. They're not the big blues like in New England, but they're good sized snappers. Get them unhooked and let them go. I don't need them. Ouch, that hurt.
Bit it off.
Bit it off. That was a good-sized Spanish mackerel he bit through 20-pound test fluorocarbon.
This one's smaller than the other one, but
That's a lot of bluefish in the area. Alright, so I am fishing for spotted sea trout, flounder, and red drum, but I'm getting into a lot of bluefish. Of course, it's spring, and a lot of snapper blues are coming in, and some are actually bigger than I thought. Now, when you're sitting here and you're fishing out near any type of jetty on the beach, and the current's moving left or right, the opposite side, with the direction that the current is moving, will create what they call an eddy. It's a circle, and a lot of bait will swirl up there and everything, and you'll have all types of game fish go into those eddies to feed. So I like to keep a little bit of just frozen shrimp, peel it up, throw it in there, because black drum, believe it or not, love these spots. So this will catch a red drum and a black drum, especially beachside. So I'm going to throw this out there as a squatter and sit it in a rod holder while I'm casting for trout. That's always fun, especially when you hear your drag go off. All right. And don't forget to loosen your drag, because I tell you, I've seen a lot of rods take off. Well, I'm even getting my blues on my shrimp. There's so many out there, I can't even catch my black drum. Crazy, too many blues. They're giving me the blues. Now we're getting big old pinfish. Size of this croaker. Hear him croak. Do it again. Why they call them croakers. All right, I give up. That's enough on this trip. I've had enough bluefish. I'll have to come out another time, and hopefully these guys will thin out. Let's move on to something else. Now, finding some freshwater ponds to fish in can be quite fun. And, bass fishing is one of the number one things to do in your local pond. So we love to bass fish, and I love to bass fish and go out and have a good time. But not many people do it, but fly fishing, when you think of it, you think about a river, you think about in the mountains or out in the mid-United States having a good time throwing a fly, but it can really be fun throwing a fly in local ponds, as long as it's not too heavy of tree cover, And in this episode, we're going to sneak around. Instead of me throwing a spin cast with rubber worms like this, Steve and I are going to throw a fly rod. See what we can get into. Check it out. He's nice. That's a good size one, Steve.
What is that?
Largemouth bass.
Bass?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them.
On the fly rod.
Whoops. There we go. Go back.
Good job, buddy.
Oh, good.
Now, Steve is no stranger to throwing a fly rod. Steve has been doing this most of his life, and usually, fishing some nice rivers. Here in the low country, hey, the ponds, that's what we got to work with. Now, we can fish some rivers local here. We have the Edisto River, and we have a selection of some freshwater rivers. You get further upstream, but inshore fishing has really become popular for fly fishing lately. But hey, we just want to go ahead and see what we can do in these freshwater ponds. And Steve started out with bass. He's catching brim, but I'm a little rusty, and I'm getting ready to head to North Carolina, Cherokee, and break out my fly rod. So I got to warm up. Let me start small here, I guess. It's still fun. All right, I was having a blast getting into all those brim. I didn't get into any big bass, so I'll tell you what, I'll stick to a spin cast rod for now. All right. Well, it looks like Oliver has got himself a nice bass here himself on a spin cast. And I'll tell you, fly fishing is fun. We enjoyed it. I have a great time. I have gotten into some good-sized bass before, so, don't ever give up on it if you try it yourself. Of course, spin cast rod is a blast, even some bait casts if you have the area to fish it. Hey, let's go ahead and head back on over to the Mount Pleasant Pier. Got a few more fish to show you there inshore, so we can wrap up the show. All right. I barely had him. Just by the skin of his lip. Hey, but it held. Trout. Over here, over here. Yeah, go. Woo. He's going in the bucket. Good job, good job. I wasn't sure if the line was going to go out right there. Good job. Gator trout. Now watch the size of this trout. Now this is on dead shrimp now, so don't let frozen shrimp fool you. This time of year, they love it. That was Mark netting for me. He's a regular out here now. And I thought this guy was a red drum. Hey. Oh, there you go. Woo, hefty. I'm gonna have to weigh that one. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. I had a great time. For all my fans out there, thank you for watching. For all of you watching for the first time, don't forget, look down. There is a subscribe button. It only lets you know when I have more shows available. And like I always say, good luck out there and have fun fishing. See you next time.